What's up, yo? You already know it's Mr. Hood Love Mikey B, man. Hood Love TV, where you live, love, and learn. Fat Joe and Jada show. I'll be reacting. Bad Mikey, Smitty, a lot going on TV. Tomorrow, Juneteenth, you already heard. Um, Salute to the free people of America, man. Salute to the people, the free people, all the free people of America. Um, let freedom reign. Let freedom reign. Wise words of one of the elders, you heard? Let freedom reign, man. But had my differences with Fat Joe. Jada's Jada's the guy. Jada's the Gaza. Everybody know Jada's the Gaza. You know what I mean? Fat Joe has said some things in the past. But you got to move on from a lot of that stuff. You can't hold grudges. You can't hold that stuff, man. I've been watching the Fat Joe and Jada show. I didn't like it at first, but I like the show. Yo, I like the show. I like the Fat Joe. Bad Mikey is jacking the Fat Joe and Jada show. I'm just being honest, y'all know what I do. Y'all know what it is. I'm just being honest. Bad Mikey, I love hip hop. Y'all know I love hip hop. I grew up hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I'm a 75 baby and proud of it. You know what I mean? And that's when hip hop was really being ushered in. James Brown, a lot of people from the 60s and 70s was bringing. I'm a hip hop baby, yo. I love hip hop, man. And Fat Joe been doing it for a while. You know what I mean? Fat Joe been doing it for a while. Jada been doing it for a while. Fat Joe been doing it for a few years more than Jada Kiss. I actually, I actually heard in 1992. I heard my first Fat Joe song. Um, going to Jones Beach in Long Island. Yo, salute! A lot going on TV in the building. Smitty,
It's
a
a lot
lot
going
is
on.
going on. A lot is going on. You're
It's a lot going flow, man. Getting to it, man. What's going on, baby?
you doing the right thing, bro. You heard?
Book me tonight talking about work 7 to 7. Nah, nah, nah. Not tonight. Nah, they gonna critical. It's critical when you do stuff like that. It's like 30 an hour right now. If
Bread.
hey, if
You
I
gotta get that.
stay,
You
if
gotta
I
get that bread, though. I mean, you gotta get that bread. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get that.
stays back to back like that, Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. Come,
Nah, they tripping.
come
They
on, so
tripping.
I can't do it Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday, 7 to 7. I can't do that. And they want me to do a 3 to 7 right now. I can't do that.
Or 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's wow. That's like 16. I don't even know. I can't even. I'm good. Yo, my math is great. You heard? 16 hours? They trip. That's not
Six,
even. Wow. That's 2 8-hour shifts. That's 2 8-hour shifts. You're
80 hours. I'm 80 hours in today. That's my regular pay.
what? But guess what? You're a free man, and you got the option to say if I'm gonna work or if I'm not gonna work. You heard? If I'm gonna get this money or if I'm not gonna get this money, I'm gonna stay with family. I'm gonna chill. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be in the crib with my lady or whatever I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You got the option. Option is a beautiful thing. You heard? Jadakiss. Option is a beautiful thing. Jadakiss. We talking about Fat Joe and Jada. Yo, listen, I can't lie, bro. I've been watching the Fat Joe and Jada show, and I like the show.
I'm just not jacking it,
I
man.
like the show, bro. I can't front.
I'm not jack for some reason. Get into it. Frankie Blanco said no. Yo, I just can't get into it.
I
I just
appreciate you,
can't get it.
Frankie Blanco. You already know.
You got two dudes that's up there pump faking.
Nah, I can't front, bro. I like the show. Let me tell you something. My favorite, yo, Anthony, you what up? Yo, my favorite hip hop show is probably Cameron and Mace.
The best. The best out right now.
Yo, I like the Cameron and Mace show because they keep it so thorough.
Lick your lips. What?
They
Hold on.
keep it so they keep it so thorough. You know, they can say what they want in their podcast. They keep it thorough. They just go up there and they be themselves. That's why I like the Cameron and Mace show the best. Your friend you blonde, so salute. Appreciate you, man, for the deuce. Good to see you, brother. Stay right.
We ain't getting
But
off it off.
I ain't going front. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Frankie Blanco. Setting up the super chat. But yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. You know, I always liked Fat Joe. I kind of, he made some disparaging remarks about older hip hop people, and it kind of threw me. It kind of threw me off. You know what I'm saying? It kind of threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of threw me off when he went on the Math Hoffa show, and he spoke down against people that was speaking against him, talking about broke ninjas. You know what I'm saying? Not in the word, not the way I'm saying it. You know what I'm saying? Um, we can't hold grudges. We can't hold everything against everybody and just, indefinitely. You heard? Do I think that's a good hip hop show? I think it's a good hip hop show, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a good hip hop show. As far as what I've been seeing for the last few shows, me and my wife been watching it. We've been sitting back watching the show. Top five female rappers, top five songs, greatest songs of all time. This is the content we've been looking for. No cap. We know Fat Joe be capping. No cap. Just coming up there and giving us you know, some real hip hop history, some real content from their perspective. That's what we want. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm jacking it, bro. Yo, what you think, bro? You ain't jacking it. Go ahead, go ahead. What you think, bro?
Man, you know what I'm saying? Like Fat Joe is just like he just jumps on the wave, man. Like he just want to be super. For me, it's just he's so corny, man. Like he just want to be super. And Jada Kiss is like I don't know, man. Dudes be jacking this dude like he did all it like everything he talks about. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. It's kind of both of
I seen them pop out. I can show you some exclusive content you never seen before on the internet at venues. I seen Joe outside in New York in a few different spots. You know what I'm saying? He was in my section. He had a section right next to mine. We was in Starlets in the strip club. Jada, I rock with Jada. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front. I rock with Jada. You know what I mean? Solid dude. Great lyricist, great rapper. Great for hip hop. Love his work. You know what I'm saying? I love all his work. Fat Joe too. I ain't gonna lie. I like a lot of Fat Joe's work. Let me tell you something. The first time I encountered a Fat Joe tape was 1992 when his first song came out. He had a single out called "You Gotta Flow, Joe." You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta let them know, Joe. We got it at Jones Beach in Long Island. We was going to the Greek Fest, right? They gave it to us for free, and we threw it out the window. I ain't gonna cap. They threw it out the window. The CD, we listened to it one time. We threw it in the whip. This was like 1992. We threw it in the whip. We listened to it, and they discarded it. But Fat Joe, I mean, he got some hits. You know what I mean? Lean Back. He did a lot of big songs with Pun. Um, Fat Joe is a legend. Fat Joe is a legend.
Because of the fact that he's given the hip hop feel of everything. They're giving out the hip hop feel, every like you said, the top 5 lady rappers and all that. But it's just that I can't jack him like I could jack Cameron and Mace. Jada Kiss and Fat Joe don't have that Mace and Cameron feel. I can't go through a whole show listening to Fat Joe and Jada Kiss. I could do that with Mace.
I listen to a lot of their 7-minute, 10-minute, 13-minute joints. I ain't gonna front. I'm just being honest. But it's good content though. It's their top fives. They giving you why. They giving you people we ain't heard of in a while. I ain't gonna front, bro. I was just watching it. Me and wife was just watching it. When I called you to do this show, just being honest, you heard?
Right.
Me and wifey was watching. Their newest content. I think it's good content. I think it's good for the internet. I think it's good content, bro. I can't really cap, bro. I think it's good content. As long as Fat Joe is not capping, because we all know Fat Joe be capping, we know he be capping. Jada Kiss know he be capping. He be calling them out. Everybody on the internet, everybody on YouTube know that Fat Joe's cap. When he just get down and just talk, his real stuff, hip hop history, his real things getting on. I like Fat Joe, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be against this brother because he made a misstep or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I made missteps in my life. You know what I mean? Like, what if dude just got down on me and just stayed against me? You know what I mean? I can't stay down on Fat Joe. I can't stay down on nobody. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. Fat Joe definitely be capping. I can't front. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I can't front. Fat Joe mentioned the protesters. He didn't get into politics. He said he's trying to stay away from politics, and I respected it. But he mentioned the protest in there with Tupac. And you can't be too political when you try to do a show. But he did mention. Don't get me wrong. Hip hop, we gotta be outspoken because I'm hip hop. We gotta be outspoken. We the voice. We the voice of the streets. We the voice of the community. We the voice of the ghetto youth. So I expect some of them to be outspoken and to speak on what's going on in the streets on real timing. You know what I'm talking about? Joe mentioned it, but he said I can't really get into the I ain't gonna get into that. He said I promised I wouldn't get into the politics. And don't get me wrong, as far as talking points, you're supposed to stay away from politics, religion, because it's opinion. Politics and religion is somebody's opinion, their personal preference. So it's never gonna go good in the public. You know what I mean? So I understand that, and it's true. I understand that. You stay away from politics and you stay away from religion. You know what I mean? That's something. So I respect it's a hip hop show and they keep it in hip hop. He's going hip hop. He did the best hip hop song. Him and Jada, they get their best hip hop songs, best female artists. This is what we want to hear from them as far as rappers. You know what I'm saying? What their profession is. Bringing back oldies but goodies. Like I was listening to Jada Kiss. Jada Kiss was talking about gin and juice. Number one, he said gin and juice or or what's the other Snoop Dogg that song G thing? Nothing but a G thing or gin and juice. Top 5 hip hop song. I agree. That was the top hop. That gin and juice when they hit the hood
5 song.
or
Dead
G
on.
thing ain't nothing but a G thing. That they both was off the same album, Doggy Style. That's my That's my content, though. That's what I do, hip hop. I respect that. I respect them going back to that. And let me tell you something. They probably seen they had a misstep with all the cap, and now they going back because this is new shows, and now they going back to what they should be talking about: top five of hip hop history, hip hop stuff. This is what they should be talking about. We don't want to hear you capping about other stuff. Talk about your profession and what you've been doing, which we know that you know. Hip hop. Fat Joe is hip hop. Fat Joe, no matter what nobody say, Fat Joe is hip hop, bro. Since 1992, I came across his first CD. They handed me, they gave it to me for free in my car, bro.
Fat Joe, doo-wop. I got a tape, and I heard Fat Joe get busy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Joey Cracks. I know he get busy. I ain't gonna front. I was a fan of Fat Joe. You know what I'm saying? Always been a fan of Fat Joe. I had Don Carter Gina in the house, everything, bro. Don't get it twisted. You understand? But as time goes on, you kind of see, the goofiness in some of these dudes, bro. Like as a kid, you look up and you know, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all. No different from Jada Kiss.
Rap styles, that's a fact. Murder Mace was nothing to be played with. I hear y'all going in on Mace. They saying Mace was corny. Mace was one of them guys. Them Harlem dudes is following Mace. Mace was one of them guys. He was one of the best rappers in the 90s. I'm just being honest. Mace was one of the best, one of the hottest rappers in the 90s. Why you think Bad Boy picked him up? Why you think Bad Boy picked up Jada Kiss and all of them? They ruled the mixtape in the 90s. I don't know how young y'all are. I don't know how old y'all are in the chat, but Mace Murder, Mason Locks be taking blocks from the out of state spots. Any nigga make it hot get found in the vacant lots. You don't really want to come dry the one guy who stayed dumb high from Blunt Lie,
All
Racket
right.
Sing Sing alumni. Mace was no joke. That's 1996. I still remember his verses from 1996. Mace, I'm hip hop. I'm hip hop all the way through and through. Mace was one of them guys. Mace Murder? He went and turned into a pastor and he started doing other things. Yeah, Big L, Jahar. Big L was one of them guys too. But Mace Murder? Mace Murder wasn't no joke, bro. Mace Murder was not no
Nah.
joke.
When Mace got on, when Mace murder, yo son, when Mace was murder, Harlem on the rise. You don't want a problem with his guy.
Nah, Mace Murder.
Ba, ba, ba. And they can't run, niggas all on top of you, beat you down with handguns, bust back slubs, but you never get the land. But whoo!
When Mace Murder, Mace Murder was going ball for ball with the Locks in a prime. He was going ball for ball with the Locks in DMX and outshining a lot of them dudes in his prime. You can't shit on Mace Murder. I'm just being honest. He changed his life. He turned his life over, but that don't change the fact that he was a real lyricist.
Let's talk about it. The reason I don't like the show and all, it's like at first they didn't know where they was going with the show to begin with. Feel me? Right.
Yeah, go
In,
ahead, go
in the
ahead.
beginning, it was kind of shaky, so that's why it kind of threw me off. And I'm quite sure it threw every. Yeah, he was capping so much, and I guess that was to get the name out there, get the show out there. They had to throw a little gimmick. It actually did because dudes like me pulled back from it. You understand?
It's not really. They don't got big numbers because Joe was capping. The negative feedback he got is reason why the numbers suppressed because he was doing a lot of cap up there, you heard? If he ain't do all that capping, the show would be bigger. Jada Kiss was on the show calling him out for cap, bro. Your co-host calling you out for cap? Like,
That looks crazy. That's why it kind of threw me off because it's like, yo, son, damn. He already capping up here. He already stunting. Jadakiss already shaking his head like, nah, Joe, you wildin', B. You bugging out, Joe. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of threw me off. It's like, nah, I don't want to watch this. It's a gimmick. He's just trying to make a couple dollars, come to the sector. You know what I'm saying? Fine, look, I'm not watching this. And that's why I never took no interest in it. But in a different way, where Mace, Gilly, all of them came through, they came through no gimmicks. Yo, this is what it is. Raw dog, pause. And this, we here. We here. We here. Wallow and Gilly didn't have to go through that. Why?
but you see what St. Vincent said? Jada said Mace really the fourth member of the Locks. He said Mace is the fourth member of the Locks. The Mace. He was on
That's
all the mixtapes, all them songs. He was on all them songs with the Locks at the beginning on all the Clue mixtapes. You know, we was on mixtape time in the 90s. We ain't really jacked nothing that was on regular stuff. We was on mixtape time. We had mixtapes in the whips. We was rocking with the mixtapes.
that clue or a local DJ that's putting it down.
Double R, double R. You know what I'm saying? Ron G. If you ain't, yeah, if you ain't had none of that, you wasn't lit. You wasn't. You
If you
wasn't
ain't
like
have none
nothing.
of that in the tape deck, going to school, walking down the block, you was not lit. You ain't know what was going on in the streets, basically. You understand what I'm saying?
I seen Jada Kiss. I respect them though because they not really undercutting dudes like Tupac. They just did a live on. They did a show on his birthday. They bigged him up, and we know Jada Kiss was down with Biggie. So I respect the fact that they keeping it solid, giving Tupac his props, and they not holding no grudges. How am I gonna hold a grudge against them, and they not holding no grudges when I know they was in the mix of all this nonsense that was going on in hip hop?
Do to me, how you gonna hold a grudge against them when they ain't hold a grudge against Tupac? I get you. I get what you said. I see the growth.
Jada Kiss was for Biggie. I know he was. That was his man. They was on songs together. That was his man. So if they not gonna hold a grudge and they gonna big up the late great Tupac Shakur, is what Jada Kiss said on the show. If they not holding grudges, how I'm gonna hold grudges against them? Just being honest, bro.
Growth in them. You know what I'm saying? I see the growth. I just think, about Fat Joe Cap and it hurt the show. That's why I say I dislike it. I don't dislike the topics that they coming up with. I don't dislike the things that they bigging up as far as hip hop is concerned. I actually agree. Son just shot at me. He said the boy on the right looked like my nana's new boyfriend. Yo, they stay shooting at
They
Smitty back.
wild. Yeah, they stay wild in the comments,
Yeah,
right?
they always be, man. But I love y'all. I could take that. My skin is. I'm from the dirty sector. I'm from the dark side. You feel me? I'm from the dirty dark side.
That's light work, you know. We was in the field. We was in the field for real. You know what I'm saying? We was in the field for real. Everything up here is light work, you know.
Hall of Legends, salute.
Yo, all of that TV. Yo, you already know. I ain't gonna.
You can say, I went and get, I went up against dudes that I stand firm with. You feel what I'm saying? We done battled like crazy on here. It's nothing you could do to me on here.
Facts. That's facts. We got thick skin. We've been in the field for real. This YouTube is light work. We've been in Attica, Comstocks, you know what I'm saying? The Wyomings, you know what I mean? We've been in the field for real. The South Sides, the East New Yorks, the Brownsvilles, the Flatbush. We've been in the field for real, you heard? You know, we on retirement time, we laid back, we be giving y'all good information, giving y'all good content, but we was in the field for real. I'm just being honest.
Being
Just being
honest.
honest. You're Virginia. You're we've been around. You're South Side. You're North Side.
You see 60s in the building, Hyde Park, Prince George District.
Side of the building. You're nah. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Coming to show love.
I appreciate the fact that Fat Joe mentioned he didn't really speak on the protest and the protesters because that's not the content of his show, but he said something about them. He said something about them in his show, and I respect Fat Joe, a person of Latin descent, even mention him on his show because
I know he didn't get too deep into it, but what was his actual words to the people that's going through, our people, his people? What was
he said he was trying to stay out of politics, but he did mention them. He said he seen a sign from a protester that said, um, got money for war but can't feed the poor when they was talking about Tupac. He said they had a sign, one of the protesters had a sign that said, got money for war but can't feed the poor. That's Tupac's ball. That's one of Tupac Shakur's ball. So I understand what Fat Joe was getting at. And he said, I gotta stay out the politics. That's politics, bro. They got a hip hop show, and it's not really for the politics. I respect it, but he threw something in there to say, "Yo, I'm watching the protests. I'm right. I'm watching the show, but this is not a show for that. This is a hip hop show, which I respect. He's staying on. He's staying on content. He's supposed to stay on content. Really, you heard? So I respect him. But he mentioned, like, I'm watching the protest. I'm watching what's going on out there. I'm watching what's going on in the streets. You know what I mean? So he threw a bone out there. He didn't really, and let me tell you something. Hip hop is outspoken. Hip hop is the voice of the ghetto youth of the world. Fat Joe, if you're gonna represent that, you gotta speak out, bro. Because you're a person of Hispanic descent, and Hispanic people is going through it in this country right now. Y'all dudes gotta speak up, bro. Y'all dudes gotta speak up, bro. If it's not on your show, Joe and Jada, I respect it. Speak up on your social media. You gotta speak up, bro. You gotta speak up for your peoples, bro. These dudes is some, and let me tell you something. I like Fat Joe, but that's some sucker shit, bro. Speak up for your peoples, bro. So you for Trump? If you for the immigrants being sent back to their countries, say that shit. Say that. If you for the immigrants, if you want to see people here in America, y'all gotta speak up, bro. Hip hop is the voice of the ghetto youth. That's what hip hop was. That's what was hip hop was created for. Not for no old dudes on the internet. Hip hop is the voice of the ghetto youth. It's the voice of the ghetto youth of the community, bro. You don't see no rich people doing hip hop. You see ghetto youth from Brazil, Asia. Listen, yeah, but they're not speaking. I'm talking about the people that's speaking on hip hop on these verses in these tracks. It's a difference, bro. An executive don't speak. Of course, an executive don't speak. An executive is getting his money. He putting things in order. I'm talking about the ghetto youth. You got to get your voice. You got to let your voice be heard. You got to let your stuff be known. This is what hip hop was created for. That's the problem, bro. Bro, that's selling your soul. What we was talking about earlier, that's selling your soul. Mission is selling your soul.
Right.
Speaking out for your peoples up here. You know you're supposed to be speaking out for your peoples up here, and you come up here and you don't say nothing. That's selling your soul, bro. That's the
I
definition of
get it.
selling your soul, bro.
I get it.
And I'm not talking about, like I said, I know they got a hip hop show. It's not for politics. It's not for a lot of the things, a lot of the content that's going on in America. I respect, I understand that. But you should be doing it somewhere if you stand with your peoples, bro. This is
No,
bigger than hip
I
hop.
agree.
Let me tell you something. What's going on in America is bigger than hip hop. It's bigger than all this stuff. Yo, Barbara, oh, what's up? Salute. You know what I'm saying? That's bigger than hip hop, bro. It's bigger than
Yeah, I'm
it's,
good. I'm good.
it's bigger than anything momentary right now. Southside Sony said Trump put the panic in Hispanic. What? Southside Tony, what up? Southside Tony said Uptown Rockaway Beach to Woodlawn. Real NYC white boys representing 100. Represent, that's right. That's what you're supposed to do. Jahar, that's right. You already know. We don't definitely don't stay ignorant. But that's my whole spill as far as that. I like the Fat Joe and Jada show. I like what they're doing with the show, and I see, they're not trying to be political. I understand that because the hip hop show is not about politics. It's not a political show. It's not Fox News or CNN. It's not that. I respect that. I respect that. I respect that. But on the same token, your people is going through some real stuff. Southside Tony says Southside Tony said the show was trash. I mean, I don't agree.
It's trash. That's right, Southside Tony. Talk your talk. It's trash. They came off with the gimmick, trying to gas us up.
I like Joe and Jada. I like it. Now that they talking about hip hop specifically and all on hip hop topics, that's what I want to hear. Old school, they digging up Lauryn Hill and Queen Latifah. They don't even these youth don't even know about those people. You heard? They don't know who Queen Latifah is or Lauryn Hill. They don't even know who those people are.
No, you right.
So I respect the
You
fact that
absolutely right. Because I be playing music. I be playing music, old school music, R&B, rap, and while I'm in this ER, these young girls be looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what's that? What you mean, what's that?
the vibe than them. You heard? Than Joe and Jada.
They had a better chance of getting Styles P and Jada or Sheik and Jada.
That was Fat Joe's brainchild. From what I see, whoever's name is first on the show, Joe and Jada, is really who run the show. Like Jada said during one of them shows, dude, this is all him, man. It's not on me. I think it should be more than five. He only saying five, top five. Joe be throwing him under the bus. Jada be throwing Joe under the bus. He be throwing Joe under the bus every chance he get, you heard? He be throwing him under the bus. But I
Yeah,
can't.
you know what? I watched that show one time and one time only, bro, and that was it. That was all for me, and that was like the beginning. I just seen how Fat Joe was just his aura. It was just a bunch of cap, yo. It just looked like
He messed it up because he did a lot of capping at the beginning. I ain't gonna front. He's the last few shows that I've seen though, they keeping it all hip hop and just their opinion on things.
and that's what Jada probably implemented. Like, yo, listen, bro, we can't if we go up here or I'm gonna go back up on this TV. We can't be talking about shit that we don't got no, you know. concerns with, bro. Like you talking about shit that, like, come on.
Venezuela Reyes in here talking about job management. He's tripping. Reyes in
Yo,
here.
man. Hey, hey, yo, Vinny, why you trying to get at me early, Vinny? Why I can't live today, Vinny?
Contacted ICE on
I'm
anybody,
about to.
but if I
Matter
have
of
to
fact, let me.
contact ICE on anybody, it would be you. I never contacted ICE. I never contacted ICE. You know what I'm saying? I never did that, but I will contact ICE for you. You're call me what you want. Mikey B told on me. He sent ICE at me. I don't care. For you, Venezuela, law enforcement. But for you, Venezuela Reyes, listen, I'll throw my street credibility out the window for you. You heard? I'll throw it. Got one in the Bronx. Venezuela Reyes. I got his. I don't know his name. Tag is Venezuela. Here's his picture, and it's his YouTube tag. I got your picture. We got your picture.
YouTube at work. You represent the hospital at or away from it. Read your contract. He's wilding. He is wilding. My son Vinny be wilding.
I didn't contact ICE about anybody. I never did. I never contact law. For you, Vinny, you gotta go. You gotta go back to Venezuela. You gotta take your show on the road. We tired of you in New York and the Bronx. We tired of you on YouTube. You gotta go back. You gotta go back to Venezuela. See if you got that same energy in Venezuela. I want to see if you got that same energy in Venezuela. You got that energy in New York. You know what I mean? You good in New York. You know what I mean? You got a job. You working. He said one bad coworker can use these videos against you. Yo, listen, at Smitty. Yo, listen, Vinny. Y'all tripping. Y'all wild. Y'all wild. But nah, I ain't gonna front. I like the Jada and Jada show. The Joe and Jada show. I like the show. Um, minus the cap from Fat Joe. He ain't been capping. I guess they toned down the capping. They had to tell him like, yo, listen, son, everybody's calling out cap on you. The whole YouTube is calling cap. You gotta stop capping, bro. I think they stopped the capping. I think they stopped the cap. I think they got the cap under control. You heard?
I don't know how. I mean, if they continue, because now you got me wanting to go jump back on the show and see what's going on with them. You know what I'm saying? Now that you said they talking about hip hop, excuse me. Now that you said they talking about hip hop, I actually want to jump back on that show and see what's going on. You feel me? But
You gotta tap back in.
it's kind of like, in the beginning they messed it up, so it's like, all right, now I'm gonna give them a chance again. Soon as you start capping again, it's over, man. Like, I'm gonna tap back in, man. I gotta see what's up.
Character on Mortal Kombat. Yo, K. Rule, what is going on? Who looks like an unlocked character on Mortal Kombat? What are you talking about? Venezuela Reyes said, Mikey B, I would be a fool to not let a union member know how not to lose his job.
Yo, this my guy. Yo, Vinny just be talking. Vinny just talk just to talk.
Mortal Kombat, that was you, Smitty. Nah, you good though. Nah, I ain't gonna front. I like the JD Boy show. I ain't gonna front. I like it. I like the revamped show because they switched it up. It's not what it was at the beginning. They talking all hip hop songs, the best top five females, top five producers, top five shows. That's what I've been looking at. You know what I'm saying? Yo, GT, what up? Yo, Juneteenth tomorrow, man. You already know what it is, man. We celebrating the freedom, the free peoples. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is tomorrow. 4th of July coming up. It's a lot going on. You know what I mean? A
Nah,
lot
it's
going on
definitely a lot.
TV in a building, you heard? It's a
Nah, that's a
lot
fact.
going on. A lot going on for the summer, you heard?
That's a fact.
Summer's always lit. You know what I mean? Everywhere. Everywhere. You can find something. Summer lit everywhere. West Memphis in the building. What up?
Yo, West Memphis in the building. Salute. Salute. He said, not a chance Joe and Jada podcast going anywhere. I know Venezuela. I know that's why I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna tell her ice on you. Since you want to tell, I'm gonna tell.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a lot of telling.
We gonna shoot shot for shot then.
Yo, go ahead, bro. I'm about to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you already know, man. Venezuela, man. Why you hating so much, man? Why you hating on the God so much, man? You don't want me to live, man. You don't want me to make $1 for my family. Come on, B. Can I eat? Come on, bro. CJ, you wilding with these. Y'all dudes is bugging out here with all this nastiness, man. Yeah, man, we had a great show, man. You know what I'm saying? We just want to know, man, when Fat Joe gonna stop capping. You know, all is well, the real G. You already know, taking it easy. You know what I mean? Rep what? Do we rep what? Do I rep what? Fish, sleep. Do I rep what? I rep God, the Most High. That's what flag I wear. The holiness. Nah, I don't rep no B's, no C's, no G's, no F's, none of that. Only thing I want to see is M's. Nothing of that nature. I used to be. I used to be one of those B's. You know what I'm saying? So I don't do those no more, man. It's childish, man. You know? Not saying like it was a learning experience. That's what I could say, man. A very, very great learning experience. And I wouldn't wish that on nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else, children, no grown men, no teenager, no man at all. I don't wish that lifestyle on them, you know, because it's nothing but back doors, snakes. There's no loyalty in there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I believe in God, man. I'm God's child, man. That's the war I'm fighting. I'm fighting for positive vibes only, man. You know, that's the type of time I'm on today. You know, I no longer want to destroy my community or hurt my community or hurt anybody around me, especially the people that's same color as me. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I came to the terms um, that I can't hurt no next brother, man. After I let these people done did what they did to me, you know. They put cuffs on me, put me in back of a car, took me to one destination to another destination, made me strip, get butt naked, spread my cheeks, lift my nuts, all types of nastiness, all types of degrading stuff. But I'm gonna come out here acting like a super gangster against my own people. Come on, make it make sense. Make it make sense. You wasn't wilding when he told you to spread those cheeks, but you coming out here aggressive with your peoples. Make it make sense.
For violating your peoples, they're gonna violate you again, and you ain't gonna do nothing.
Follow up.
Spread it. Get down deep in the squad. You're gonna go down, you're gonna spread it and go deeper.
Cough. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I've been left that alone. It's just nasty for our peoples. Now if the Die moves and the Crips actually stood for what they really, is here for, like brotherly love, overrun oppression and destruction, community revolutionary independence posse or whatever, however they call it. If they was really for their community and really living that, then I'll probably still be around. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for my peoples. You know what I mean? But they not on that. They fighting against each other. I can't fight against another brother again, ever in life. You know what I'm saying? Unless he try to harm me.
Against everybody. First to answer up. First to answer up. Ask all these dudes. Ask the Brims, ask the Stones, Billies, whoever you want to ask them. I was the first to answer up, bro. Once that came to destroying our own peoples, bro, I'm not in with that, bro. I ain't sign up for that. You frozen, Smitty? Yeah, Smitty was frozen. I ain't signing up for none of that. Just being honest, I ain't signing up for that. I ain't trying to destroy my own peoples. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't signing up for that. I didn't. You know what I mean? And when I seen it was going that way, and that was the new trend, I had to slide. You know what I mean? Yo, you at this point, you up here like telling like VR like, come on, man, you gotta like change your content or something, bro. Like, come on, man. Yo, Vinny, we respect you up here, but like, come on, bro. Like, you gotta change your comments or your content. You keep doing the same stuff, bro. I'm gonna block you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, come on. I respect you coming up here talking your talk, but yeah, I'm not GT. You heard? I ain't gonna tell but you can't be up here with that all the time like that. Come on, bro. It's like, come on. Come on, man. Stop it, man. You got a good job too. You be on YouTube. Like, come on, stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Vinny. Like, come on. I don't wanna block you, but you being, you know what I'm saying? You being extra. You being extra with this, like you a whole cop out here. Like, what's up with you, my dude? Like, what's up with you, man? Like, you doing police work? I'm just saying, if you a cop, then it's all good. I respect you as a cop, but I ain't gonna let you comment. Not saying that we don't, cops can comment, but I didn't know you was a cop. I'm just saying. I'll probably have a different view of you if I knew you was a cop. I'm just being honest. If I knew Venezuela Reyes was a cop, then I'll probably have a different view of you and we have a different relationship. Not saying that you can't comment or do what you like, but come on, bro. It's like you like a cop up here. Like now, you like a cop. Like, what's up with you, my dude? Like, that ain't funny. You should be in a cop. Like, that ain't funny. Yeah, I already know, Tiny Let Loose. I like your outlook, Mikey. That's why I like listening to your channel. I wish it was like that here in LA, but our own is the main ones giving funerals. I already know. I mean, it's like that on the East Coast too. Our own is giving out funerals, and we hurting each other over here on the East Coast too. It ain't no really. It's really not no different. It's just that educated brothers like myself, leaders like I was a leader. I was a leader from when I got into that. I was a leader. You know what I'm saying? Um, my name was Mikey B before I turned blood. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? My name was Mikey B. Um, but I ain't come to destroy my peoples, and we ain't have no beef with Crips. It wasn't Crips over here when I turned blood. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. It wasn't no Crips when I turned blood over here. You know what I'm saying? We had a different, we had a different thing going on over here on the East Coast. Um, we had a different thing going on over here on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get into that because that's over. We, we eradicated. We really stepped on that. We stepped to our business and we took care of that on the East Coast. So I'm not even going, go into all of that. But y'all know what it is. Y'all know the vibes. But and I don't hold no grudges against them brothers neither. Um, I don't hold no grudges. But on the same token, because like I said, we all black people. But on the same token, it's like I ain't joined up to none of this stuff to destroy my peoples, bro. I ain't joined none of that stuff to destroy my peoples. You know what I'm saying? I did that to help my peoples, to be an ally to my peoples, bro. That's a fact. You know what I mean? I stood on the front line the whole time against everybody. 12, whatever. You asked them about me. You asked them about me. You know what I'm saying? These dudes on the internet. I caught new charges in prison. I caught more time in jail for these dudes. They out here, they free. I caught new time in prison for these dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just being honest, you heard? But that's just the difference in the coasters, you know what I mean? We use those flags, them red and blue flags that y'all had in the West Coast, Tiny, to unite the peoples over here on the East Coast. We united it, but then it got out of control once we beat, the people that we were warring with at the time. Once we won that war, it imploded and we started banging on each other, banging on ourselves. And that's the destruction of everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's the destruction of everything, bro. I couldn't see myself banging on the brothers that I came up with, on the brothers that I led, on the youngins that I led, I taught. I couldn't see myself knocking them down, knocking them off. I couldn't. So I just bowed out gracefully. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. That's my story. I just bowed out. I bowed out gracefully because I ain't about destroying my peoples. You know what I'm saying? And I know what was taught, what I learned from the elders, not just gangbangers, from real Black Panthers, from real freedom fighters. I know the stuff that I learned was enough for me to be able to destroy communities, to destroy my community. And I could not use that information, that knowledge that was given to me to destroy my own peoples. I'm just being honest. Definitely got PTSD. I definitely got PTSD. Right, GT. Right, I understand. Yeah, I understand. I know how to go, Tiny Let Loose. You got dudes over here pushing that line. You got dudes on the East Coast pushing that line, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, real people that really love our people. And let me tell you something, a lot of people don't love that. They don't love the people. They don't love our people. So they're gonna push that line because they don't really got no love. But the real OGs, the real elders that love our people, they're gonna always give you the right information regardless. No matter how it looks. Fuck a look. They're gonna give you the real information. They're gonna give you the right path to tread, how it's really supposed to go. They're gonna give you that. They not gonna be the dude's holding the highest regard. I'm not. I'm not. I know I'm not gonna be that. I know I'm not gonna be that. But like I said, in previous times, I went against everything, bro. I went against the culture. I went against the police when they went against our peoples. I went against the gang when they went against our people. I went against the other gangs when they against our, and I went against all again. I went against everything, bro, when it went against our peoples. I don't care. I'm gonna stand firm. It is what it is. I don't care about none of that, bro. And that's what real is. You got to be real with yourself before you can real with. Before you could be real with somebody else. You got to be real with yourself. You got to be real with yourself. You know what I mean? I relinquished my position and I lost my position in Ola because I wouldn't destroy my own peoples. I stand on that. I don't care. I don't mind. I don't mind that. I don't mind standing on that. I don't mind being outed because I won't destroy my own brothers, my own sisters. I don't mind that. I don't mind that being my record. He was a good brother to us. He treated us good. He treated us well. He wanted the best for us. He didn't shoot me when he could have. He didn't send him at me when he could have. I don't mind being that dude. I don't mind being that dude that says, yo, let him live. Leave him alone. Let him go. I don't mind being that dude. I don't mind being that dude. You know what I'm saying? I know if I had a heavy hand, if I shot all my homies, if I got all the other homies shot that I was beefing with, if I used my power and my prestige and my money to go knock all my peoples down, I know they would still be holding me in high regard. I know that. I know they would still be holding me in high regard. But what would that do to my soul? What would that do to my spirit? What would that do to my peoples? What would that do to them? What would that do to them? You know what I'm saying? I stood on that line. Dudes ain't stand on that line. I could look at you, I could look at y'all in your eye right now and tell y'all I don't know how many times the police whipped my ass over the homies. I don't know how many times. 20, 30 times I got it on with 12 for the homies. 2 or 3 new charges. I got like 10 years. I got 10 extra years that I did in prison for the homies. I don't know how many ass whoopings I took for the homies. I don't even know. It's no number. I can't even name a number. Talk to these OGs that's out here. Mel Cross, ask them. They was with me in prison. Yo, G up Quinn, what up? I'm just being honest. Just being it's bigger things. It's bigger things than that out here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes that y'all looked up to on it, they soft. They was soft. They wasn't gangster. I'm just saying, we was holding the line. We was the ones that was standing in line. We was leading. We was the leaders in prison on our time. We was the leaders, bro. We was the dudes that was holding the line. We was holding the line against everybody, against our own peoples. making them stand down on doing stuff to each other. You know what I'm saying? Giving dudes them passes like, yo, nah, let him go. He ain't built for it. Let him live. Don't worry about him. Let him go. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with my life. I don't have a problem with the calls that I made because I stood when it was time to stand firm. I stood up. I got my ass whipped. I took those beatings. I took that time when it was the time for it. And it was time for me to stand down against destroying my own peoples. I stood down. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I'm good with my legacy. I'm good with my rap sheet. I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand you trying to let loose. I'm just saying I'm not about destroying my peoples, bro. How I look like going to prison? Man, I did 27 years. I did 25 years straight for shooting dudes in my community. Those are the dudes that's holding me down while I'm in prison against my real oppressors. I regret that shit. I regret that. I regret everything I did in the community, in my community, bro. St. Albans, Queens. I regret all that shit. So that's why I don't be coming up here holding no grudges against light internet stuff and all that. I've been through real stuff. I got bullet holes through my body. I got bullet holes all through me. I got you look. I'm bullet holed up. I got bullet holes through my hands. I got all kind of scars. All this bullet. I got bullet holes through me. I got bullet holes through me. What you mean? I'm telling you, I stood up for that. I stood on that line. I caught new charges, bro. Ready to catch more new charges, bro. And when you get it on with 12, let me tell you something. Even with them protesters, all that stuff that's going on, when you get it on with 12, it's different than getting on with prisoners. Once they get them cuffs, I don't care how busy you get. Once they put them cuffs on you, you getting crunched. Once they put them cuffs on you, you was crunched. It's over. They gonna smash you. You getting smashed. You know how many times I got smashed? You know how many times I did that? You know how many times I got smashed by the police? I don't even know. I would have to like sit down and like really try to think and like count like 30 times. You know what it's like to get beat up by 30 times by the police in prison, in the belly of the beast? We went against them in their own house. Who more gangster, who more official than us? We went against them in their own house. I'm just being honest, bro. We went against them for the peoples in their own house. Time after time after time after time. Again and again and again. Forget our own peoples. Forget our own peoples. Forget black. Forget white. Forget blue. Forget red. Forget any flag. Forget any of that. We went against the real oppressors that oppressed our peoples for 500 years in their house. For that, we are going to be remembered as freedom fighters in this world. For that, all them dudes that stood up Gonna be remembered as freedom fighters in this world. Because we fought them in their own house. No, as kids, 20, 18, 19, 17, stood up, took them ass whoopers, took the new charges, took the billy clubs, took the mace, took all of that. You don't see no OGs coming up here on the internet saying I'm lying. They support me. They come in, they come through. They pull up on our ass and they pull up on these chats. You don't see no OGs on the internet saying I'm lying. You don't see nobody up here saying I'm capping like Fat Joe, like anybody else. You don't see nobody coming up here saying that. Mel Crosses, the OGs, the CKs, original Godfathers, no matter who you say up here, you don't see nobody. The Ashans, the Moshes, the KKs, you don't see none of that. This is the real talk. I'm giving you the real talk. And don't get me wrong. This is a trigger for me. I don't even like talking about this shit. Because it takes me back to a time in my life that I don't wanna revisit, that I don't wanna relive. But y'all need this information. Y'all need to understand the real. Y'all need to understand the real. Jai Savi in the building. Ja Rastafari, Selassie the first. But yeah, we stood up, yo. We stood up, bro. You don't see none of them dudes come up here and saying I'm lying. You don't see nobody up here ever said I capped. You never see nobody on the internet say I capped 20, 30 times against the police, against 12, against our real oppressors. What you mean? Shit, I ain't have nothing to do with just standing up for dudes. Just standing up for dudes. Dudes stood up for me too. Don't get it messed up. I had dudes I ain't know, black dudes, Muslim dudes standing up for me. When I was a kid coming through, wild in HDM, police trying to beat me up. I had big ox stepping up. They ain't know I got a Muslim ID because I ain't eat pork. So I got a Muslim ID, and the ox see you with a Muslim ID, the ox gonna step out for you. Salute to the Muslim brothers, the real ones. They gonna step up against the police. They gonna ride. Leave him alone. What's up? What y'all doing to him? It's not going down. That's how he was giving up in prison. We would have get him in the belly of the beast, yo. For that, for that, for that, they gonna try to keep us out of history, but I'm gonna write us into history. For that, for standing up against the police in the belly of the beast, standing up against that oppression, we are gonna go down in the record books as freedom fighters. We are gonna go down as freedom fighters. Y'all don't recognize us in y'all time. Y'all not gonna recognize us right now. But 50 years from now, 100 years, they will recognize us as freedom fighters because we fought against them in a house. We fought against them in a house. We fought against them in a house. Knowing once they get them cuffs on us, they're gonna break us up. Knowing once they get them cuffs on us, they're gonna take us to court. Like they took me to court. Attica. Dudes scared to stand up in Attica. The homies stood up in Attica. The homies Moshe, Stutter, they stood up in Auburn. They stood up in Clinton. All them jails where all these gangs you hear about on the internet was scared to stand up at. The homies stood up. The homies stood up in all them spots. Elmira, We stood up in all them spots. The police, they know what we was gonna do. The police, they respected us. They know what we was gonna ride. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. They knew what we was gonna do. It's Juneteenth tomorrow, man. Free peoples. Look what these immigrants is going through in America right now, bro. We in a shambles, bro. We gotta get this shit correct. We gotta correct this shit. We need our soldiers. We need our peoples to stand up and be right and to be one. We gotta be a unified force. We can't be divided on this nonsense, this bullshit. Understand that, bro. Understand that, bro. And let me tell you something. In 1997, in the middle of that war with the Latin Kings and the Netas, when we had a riot on Rikers Island against 12, against 12, the Latin Kings still with us. Salute to the kings. Salute to the real kings. Salute to the real kings. They still with us. When it was time for us to go against the real oppressors of all of our peoples, the kings still with us. The Netas still with us. All the Spanish bros, they still with us. They got broken arms. They broke them up too. They broke them up with us. 1987, Rikers Island. They still with us. Right, Ja Ace. To fight the police in is major in the system because there are so many dudes that's dead and the police broke their necks and told the families other prisoners killed their loved ones. This is what goes on in prison. This is what goes on in prison. Salute to them. Salute to the bros that salute to the bros that, even though we was going through our little gang shit or whatever we was doing on Rikers Island, salute to the bros that really understood that, yo, this is the real oppressor. We gotta unite. We gotta unite and fight against this real oppression. Salute to them brothers. Salute to them brothers, man. Salute to them brothers, man. It's Juneteenth, you know what I'm saying? It's Juneteenth in 15 minutes, you know what I mean? I care about my peoples, bro. I don't care about none of this stuff. I care about my peoples, bro. Black, brown, whatever you want to call yourself. I care about my peoples, bro. You know what I'm saying? And my life is a testament to standing against that shit, bro. Till I walked out of there. Till I walked out of prison. Dudes might talk mad shit about me, but dudes don't talk nothing about me being soft. You never hear that. You never hear Mikey being soft on the internet. You never hear Mikey being stand up. You never, because everybody know I did. Everybody know the true stories of who we were. Mel Cross. Salute to Mel Cross. When I was getting it on, when I was on my shit, Mel Cross was right behind me. Yo, bro, they come and get you. I'm a ride. I'm with you. Let's get it. Salute to Mel Cross. Salute to Moshe. Moshe was standing up. I wasn't around Moshe. He knew he came a little bit after us, like right. He was like there with us right after us, but Moshe was on it. Moshe was on timing. Salute to Moshe. Salute to all the real brothers that stood up against our real oppressors, man. A lot of us ain't do it. Some dudes was on gangbang time and, strictly on, you know, red and blue or red and yellow or whatever was going on at that time, red and white netas. And then, so you had the militant brothers that was against, the real oppressor, Barbie. They was on 12 Hills. They was on 12 Body. You know what I mean? Like myself. That's why, I turned Damu because of 12, really. I ain't turned Damu because of Latin Kings ain't do nothing to me. Netas ain't do nothing to me. Latin Kings and Netas ain't do nothing to me. I'm just being honest. I seen them do stuff to other people. They tried to violate, and I was got with them. I got well. I'm being honest. They ain't do nothing to me. I never had no problem with the Spanish brothers. I'm just being honest. Because any problem we had, I handled that swiftly. Any problem that I had, I handled that swiftly, and everybody got in line. I'm being honest. Everybody got in line with me. I handled that swiftly. I handled that quickly, early. I'm just being honest. Right, G up Quint. I'm being honest. I ain't had no problem with the Land Kings. I never had no problem with I never had a problem with the Land Kings. Never one. Besides, whatever they was doing to the homies. They ain't do it to me. I had one incident with the Netas and I got busy and they ain't want no more smoke with me. I'm just being honest. I seen other dudes going through it and I was helping them out. I was helping them out. Salute to Teflon. I was just talking to Teflon today. Salute to Teflon Don YG. I was talking to him today, you know what I'm saying? Rasta and the Jamaicans and and the role they play, you know what I'm saying? They played a huge role. A lot of the slang we got in the homies, a lot of the stuff that we got it from the Jamaicans. We got it from the Rastas. Eat food, all that stuff came from Jamaicans. That came from the Rastas. That came from the Jamaicans. Eat food, all of that slang, all that stuff came from the Jamaicans. You know what I mean? You already know why it's Brim Salute. What up? I'm just being honest, bro. I'm just being honest, bro. You know what I mean? And this ain't a lie to be against anybody or to big anybody up or to be against anybody. I'm just, it's Juneteenth, you know what I mean? We talking about Fat Joe and Jada, but this is Juneteenth. It's Juneteenth tomorrow. We talking about, when the slaves found out that they were free, they didn't even know. That's what Juneteenth was made for. The slaves found out in the South that they was free. That's what the Juneteenth was made for. You know what I mean? And we still suffering from that shit right now. That shit was what, 200 years ago? 200 years in the 1800s? 200, almost 300 years ago? And we still dealing with that shit? We still dealing with that? We gotta step up, bro. We gotta step up, bro. You know what I mean? And let me tell you something. I'm laid back, family man, but I'm here for my peoples, man. When it's time for my people, I'm gonna go. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be a warrior. I'm gonna be a warrior till I walk up off this shit. That's that. I'm a soldier. That's that. That's that. My family know that. My wife know that. You know what I mean? If you smart in these streets, you know that. I'm gonna be a warrior till I walk up off this. I ain't gonna be high behind nobody. I ain't high behind no bags. I ain't sitting no bags. I'm a soldier. I was built like that. My hood built me like that. I'm just being honest. I'm a soldier. My family built like that. I came from a line of soldiers. All Army and Marines in my family. My uncles and my grandfather, my father, all Army and Marines. All Army and Marines. I came up doing push-ups and working out and doing drills, and I was born like that. I'm just being honest. This is just regular work for me. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest, bro. You know what I mean? If Southside, what Southside ain't do, just growing up in Queens and North Side and South Side, and what I went through there, trauma and violence, and what I learned from my family, what I learned in prison, backing that up with more. I passed all the rites of courage and manhood and all those rites of passage. I excelled at all those rites of passage. Right? That's called rites of passage, right? It's rites of passage. I excelled at all those rites of passage. You know what I mean? I just don't want to destroy my people, to destroy my community. I'm just not a dummy no more. I'm not immature. I'm a grown man. I'm not immature, but I will stand up. I will stand up for the people. That's that. I will do that. I will stand up. It is what it is. And whatever come with that, come with that. You know what I mean? Whatever come with that, come with that. I'm gonna take it. Just like I was willing to take it when I was running in the streets acting stupid. I'm just a lot more mature now. But I digress. I like the Joe and Jada show. I'm just being honest. Smitty tapped out on me. Smitty slid on me. I like the Joe and Jada show, man. To get back to it, you know what I mean? I'm gonna stay here for 5 more minutes so we can, usher in this Juneteenth. I'm gonna stay here for 5 more minutes at least to usher in this new Juneteenth. You know what I mean? Salute all those people that passed away. Um, in a transatlantic slave in a transatlantic slave trade. I'm gonna definitely stay here for that. You know what I mean? Then we go about our night. But there's bigger things than money in this world. There are bigger things than gangs in this world. And and it's a lot of stuff going on in this world right now as far as wars. It's a lot of stuff going on. Um, and we really need to be mindful of what's going on around us. You know what I'm saying? Take a look at what's going on in the world. It's a lot going on, man. It's a nasty time. It's one of those nasty times in the world right now. You know what I mean? Um, it's one of those nasty times in those world. You know what I mean? And just because it's not you, what those immigrants are going through, just because it's not you, what those people are going through, those families that are being deported, they might have took the right. That don't mean it can't be you because it was us. At one time, it was us. Where they make laws or create laws to violate your peoples, to violate you and your family, to do what they want to do with you and your family. We can't stand for that. You know what I mean? So I stand with the immigrants. I'm from I'm a I'm a person that came from immigrants and I understand the illegal aspect of what's going on, but it's a bigger picture out here right now. It's bigger than that. So I think it's a little bit bigger than that. Um heavy-handed authoritarian moves that's being made in the world, you gotta watch that anytime it's going down. You know what I'm saying? Anytime they're not giving you due process, um, you did wrong, so I'm gonna do wrong too. Two wrongs. We learn as adolescents, as kids, that two wrongs don't make a right. Do you like my Back in the Van concert? But yeah, man, we got a lot ahead of us. We got a lot ahead of us. And some of us, we are in communities that are removed from a lot of these protests that's going on right now, a lot of the action, but you don't know when that's going to touch your community, when that's going to touch your peoples, when that's going to touch your family. You don't know when that's going to. You don't know when that's going to touch your family and your peoples. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when they're going to change a law, and now it's you. Now it's your turn. You don't know. You don't know. They switching. They changing laws. They changing laws that been in effect. Some laws been in effect for 50 and 60 years. They changing laws. They changed Roe versus Wade. They overturned Roe versus Wade. And if they can overturn that, Roe versus Wade is the law that let women do abortion. That's Roe versus Wade. That's in like the 60s or the 50s. That law was around for 50 or 60 years. If they can overturn Roe versus Wade, where a woman can't do what she want to do with her own body, then they can overturn any law. You might be next. You laughing at these immigrants, you laughing at the illegals that's being deported, you might be next. You might be next. They switching a lot of laws. They changed a lot of, you gotta remember, a lot of the judges were changed. They changing judges. They changing Supreme Court judges. Understand what's going around you in the world. Understand that. If they change Roe versus Wade, if they overturn Roe versus Wade, where a woman can't do what she wants with her own body, then I think they can change any law. Any law that's on the books. They can change any law on the books. They can change any law. You legal today, you could be illegal tomorrow. So watch how you treating these people, bro. They say the same people, you see the same people when you going up, you see them when you coming down. The same people that you see when you going up, you see them when you going down. But it's Juneteenth, man. RIP to the ancestors, RIP to all those people that died in the transatlantic slave movement. Um, RIP to the new slaves, modern day slaves that we have now here in America and other countries, because slavery still exists in this world. You know what I mean? And, we can't stop till we see freedom for all people. We can't stop until we see freedom for all people. That's right. And we're gonna need soldiers, we're gonna need people to stand up. We're gonna need people to stand up. I hope y'all ready to stand up. You know what I mean? I hope y'all ready to stand up because like I said, you could be free today and a law can change and you could not be free tomorrow. You could be legal today and you could be illegal tomorrow. So be mindful, stack your paper and be ready because you don't know what's coming to you. You don't know who's next or what's coming to you. And I see a lot of people trying to I see a lot of people trying to say yeah, now you a citizen, you good, you don't know what's gonna happen, but you don't know. Black people became citizens in this country because of a law change, because of an amendment. They changing laws every day. Be mindful, stay humble, stay ready, because you don't know who's gonna be next. You don't know who's gonna be next. They get the wrong person in that president seat. You get the wrong person there, and you don't know who gonna be next. You don't know what they're gonna change, what law they're gonna change. So if the Supreme Court is gonna side with them, or if they not, you don't know. You don't know. It's Juneteenth, yo. Yo, salute to everybody in the building, man. Appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you everybody for tapping in. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Rest in power to the ancestors. Rest in power for them people that never made it to these shores to see America, to see this place. But it's a lot more in store. We got a lot more, you know what I mean? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Salute to Smitty, my co-host, you know what I mean? A lot going on TV. Make sure I go subscribe to Smitty. But we do rec. We get our little rec, but we gotta be serious too. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be serious too. Serious things going on in these communities, serious things going on outside. All our days are numbers. We got dates. We all got a date. We all got a date to beat the most high. You know what I'm saying? We all got that date. We all got that date. You know what I mean? That's written. We all got that date. You know what I mean? Right. Right, wise brim. Salute to them ancestors of Paris in Middle Passage that chose death over slavery. That's right. But salute to y'all, man. It's Juneteenth, man. Make sure y'all get y'all a little shot, a drink, do something. You know what I mean? For the people that's not here, for the people that don't got the freedoms that we got, people that never got the chance to see that. You know what I mean? Never chance to experience this. Go out somewhere, do something, watch a movie, whatever, barbecue, whatever. But remember those people, you know what I mean? Because they're all of our colors. Black, brown, no matter what you consider yourself. All of our peoples, a lot of our ancestors perished due to the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I mean? And we here, and we still here, you know, dealing with the aftermath of all that. We the ones that's left here for the next generation. What we gonna do? What we gonna do for the next generation? We gonna sit here and just do nothing, just live, not say nothing, keep your head low, like a house nigga, be obedient. That's what you gonna do? That's how you gonna live? I gotta keep my head up. I gotta keep my shoulders high. I gotta be able to look myself in the mirror, look my wife in the mirror, look my family in the mirror as a man in America. You know what I'm saying? As a black man in this world, you heard? I gotta be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be able to do that, you know what I mean? I'm a warrior. I'm gonna die that. I'm a soldier. I'm gonna die that. That's what it is. You know what I mean? But salute. You already know what it is. It's Mr. Hood Love, Mikey B, Hood Love TV, man. Where you live, love, and learn, man. Salute to the ancestors, man. Happy Juneteenth. Salute.